Welcome. Welcome to Celebrate Aging. I'm Vicki Marthaler, your hostess today, and we are here at the Emmanuel Community, soon to be Detroit Lakes Ecumen. That will be the name of our community here in Detroit Lakes. And we are going to be hosting a most wonderful, one of a kind, something that's never been in Detroit Lakes before. We're hosting a wonderful event in October. And I'm starting to tell you about it now because I want you to get excited about it. I want you to make sure you get over here to Emmanuel to see it. It's going to be for a whole first weekend in October. And it is, I'm going to get the brochure out. It's the Alzheimer's Art Quilt Initiative. And it is a quilt exhibit. And I'm standing in front of a quilt right now because here at Emmanuel, we love quilts. Isn't there something warm and fuzzy and cozy and homey about a quilt? Whether it was made by someone you know, or maybe one that you were gifted with, or even bought for yourself. Like this beautiful quilt that we have hanging on the wall. This is in our dining room here at the nursing home. And we have a lady in town who loves to quilt. And as she quilts, she has quite a number of them. She has been so kind as to share one with us every month. So we have like the quilt of the month, and we hang it on the wall, and it adds warmth to our dining room. It adds conversation, of course, with so many of our residents and staff who like to quilt, talk about the different colors and how it's all put together and the pattern. And sometimes the quilts are smaller and sometimes they're bigger, but they all tell a story. That's another thing about quilts. They tell a story. And I wanted to just share with you this little lap quilt. It was specially made by a lady who, her mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And she wanted to care well for her mother. She wanted to do what she could for her mother as the Alzheimer's progressed, and her mother lost more and more of her abilities, which we all know is so tragic and heartbreaking to see. And she read about how a quilt, like this sensory quilt, is something that can bring comfort and also just give a person a sense of accomplishments, because there's all kinds of textures here. There's little things to do. Sometimes we have that little nervous energy and just like to fuss with things. So this little rope of bells here is way cute. There's even a pocket here so that you could take something out and put it back in and just be busy doing that. But it gives your fingers something to do. And again, it brings a sense of comfort. It certainly gives you a sense of warmth. You can nestle it up close to you. And so we're going to be looking at making sensory quilts here at Emmanuel with our residents and staff, just to continue to give good care in every way that we can and whatever way is available. So this is a sensory quilt, and this is a beautiful quilt that adds conversation and beauty and warmth to a room. But this quilt display is a little bit different, and it has a different purpose. Number one, the quilt display that will be here in October is a national known exhibit. It travels around. We had to make a covenant with this Alzheimer's Art Quilt Initiative that we would take extra care. The people who are going to be putting up the quilts will be wearing white gloves and no makeup or hairspray or anything. I mean, there's a lot of rules about having this display because this display is so important. It tells the story of many, many families who have been living with the disease of Alzheimer's and caring for people with Alzheimer's. And they know that it is important that we find a cure, that research has the monies available to find a cure and find a way to defeat this most horrendous disease. And so I'm going to give you a couple examples out of a book. This book I bought a couple years ago because this is the second quilt show actually. But this book is called Alzheimer's Forgetting Piece by Piece. And what it was families touched by the disease of Alzheimer's. There were some ladies and men who just started making quilts to talk about their journey. And so in this book, there's a picture of the quilt that is made. There's a picture of the person who made the quilt, and then there is the inspiration that came with why they made it, the way they made it, and what it tells a story about their journey into Alzheimer's. So this book too will be available, something that you might want to look at and think about. I'd like to read to you a couple of comments that as this quilt display has been in major cities all over the United States so far and will continue to go. That's why we're so excited that it's here in Detroit Lakes. I mean, it's been in Spokane, and it's been in Washington, D.C., and it's been in Tulsa, and it's been in Dallas. It's been in all these big cities, and now it's in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. You've got something wonderful to come, and it's going to be for all weekend. It's going to be a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that will be open hours that you may come and check out this wonderful display. But people who have attended it, there's pages and pages that I was on the website. Let me just read you a couple of them. It said, my dad has Alzheimer's, and he still remembers our core family, but grandchildren, not so much. It is sad he doesn't do any of the activities he used to, and repetition and conversation is all that's left. And so when I come to look at these beautiful quilts, and I see the names that are listed next to these quilts, I know that, just like my dad, that these people will not be forgotten. The one thing about the quilt display is that there is names after names after names after names of people who are living with this disease or have been living with this disease. So you're surrounded by a host of people who need our help and research so that this disease can be defeated. And then there are pictures of other quilts that are made that represent the journey of Alzheimer's. This one says, my mother has late-stage Alzheimer's, and I found this exhibit very moving and exact. Another said, my dad died a year ago from this disease. My mother did an amazing job taking care of him. He was 90 years old and my mom was 80. This quilt display is an amazing tribute to the person with Alzheimer's, to the caregiver, and to the family. So it does have a purpose. It is meant to honor those who are giving care, who are living with the disease. It is meant to educate people. We want you to have education about this illness, what you can do to support a family or a person who's living with this diagnosis. Here at Emmanuel, we have an Alzheimer's Dementia Support Group, and it meets once a month, meets the second Monday of every month. I'm a facilitator of that group, and there are people who get together and talk about how their life has changed, and how can they continue to give quality care, and how can they continue to support the person that they love that has Alzheimer's. And so it's a very meaningful group. We do too here at Emmanuel have many nurses and nursing assistants who have gone through specialized training, and we have an awakenings program here that helps us to give the best care we can to people who have dementia, who have Alzheimer's and have different stages of dementia. So Emmanuel is here for you. We want to continue to be in this community. We want to give help to families, and we want the community at large to know that there is a way that you can stand with these families and make a difference. And so in October, the first weekend in October, on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we will have a national quilt exhibit here, specifically geared for those who have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and for the caregivers who are giving care for those with Alzheimer's. We want you to come and just take this quilt display in to learn a little bit more, to support however much you can. So this is Vicki at Emmanuel, standing with some beautiful quilts, expecting some beautiful quilts soon. And again, if you ever have any questions about Alzheimer's, if you are in need of any support, make sure that you call us and talk to us, because we do know the resources in the community, and we certainly are here to help you and to stand with you. This is Vicki.